It's very modern, but it's also very old and vintage.
Yeah, actually, if you look for Datamancer, if you just Google the name Datamancer, he is the one who I think made a laptop, a steampunk laptop that is absolutely gorgeous, and it sits in a nice wooden case, and it opens up and it has typewriter keys. Very fascinating, very well made, very way out of my price range. So make one myself if I could do that.
Have an update. Any question?
I was just wondering if y'all had brought some music.
I have an iPod.
Yes.
So yes.
We could definitely tell you our favorite steampunk genre-esque bands. I like Vernium Process, wearing the t-shirt. He's a great guy out of San Francisco, and he does very soundtracky sounding, Danny Elfman-esque steam wave music is the way that he describes it. He doesn't want it to be called steampunk. Nobody wants the music to be called steampunk. But he is fantastic. He's really good sort of ambient music to have on in the background. I really love They Might Be Giants. They have this weird, you can't figure out when they're from sound to them. And they use a lot of old instruments, and they recorded on Edison's first recording equipment, so I don't think it gets much more steampunk than that. Lemming Malloy is an amazing local group. They just had their CD release party the other night, and they are so good. They mostly play in Chapel Hill. That is not steampunk. Or it could be, if you want it to be. This world is yours for the making. Lemming Malloy are great. If you have a chance to look them up, they're really good. They grew out of some other local acts, and now they formed this steampunk group. And their stage show is amazing if you get a chance to see them. The lead singer / guitar player has built his own guitar, and it's made out of wood and metal, and it's insane and fantastic.
And it's the Marvelon.
Yes, it's not called a guitar, it's called a Marvelon, which sounds like something out of The Wizard of Oz to me.
I also like there's a band out of Asheville, the Hell Blinky Sextet, that is, strangely enough, they're a trio. As they used to actually have 6 members, or a rotating crew of many members, and they do the whole white-faced and white-faced, very I'm trying to think of what the word is, Brechtian theater aspect with, and they play drums and accordions and Valerie, the opera singer, has this amazing music box that she's made herself. So a lot of steampunk music is taking an instrument that's already out there and just making it look a heck of a lot cooler, doing something to change it. It's pretty much what steampunk is. Take something that's already out there and change it so it looks amazing and from the past. I'm trying to think of, my brain just went, what music do I like? Oh, I like Dr. Steele, who is actually it's kind of steampunk industrial music. He's got several tracks that are definitely music box sounding beginnings, and I like a lot of his stuff. Some of it I could throw out the window, but but it's definitely something good. I also I usually on the show play a lot more 1920s and 30s and 40s music than necessarily Victorian stuff, because I like to take the standpoint that, if there was a steampunk era during the Victorian times, and that it would continue to present, that all of that past music would be music that we would be listening to now too, to a certain degree. So I tend to play a lot of Cab Calloway and Sarah Vaughan and Ella Fitzgerald and stuff like that on the show too, because I think that timeless music is timeless, should be timeless, and as it is timeless, then it shouldn't matter when we're listening to it. So
that's very wise. And there's also Abney Park, and I think they were the first band to define themselves as steampunk. I'm not the hugest fan of them, but they definitely have a massive fan base, and they sing a lot about being on airships and being airship pirates. So they're good to look up to. So yes.
Yeah. There were a lot of
There's actually a lot of video games and a lot of computer online games and role-playing games that have steampunk elements. Even, I mean, World of Warcraft has the whole gnome population are all little engineers and things, and pretty much everything they make. They ride around on giant robotic chickens. I mean, if that's not steampunk.
Chicken's not steampunk, then I want out of this
Well,
genre.
and it has like exhaust coming out the back and everything. So I mean, there's lots of elements to it. A lot of the mechanics and the elements of it that you see when you're looking at scenes from the game is definitely like, oh, well, there you go. That's definitely fits into that genre. There's also elements, I believe, in several Final Fantasy games, and I mean, the funny thing is that once you know what it is, you start seeing it everywhere. Like my husband has actually asked me to stop using the word because I constantly am pointing out things. Oh, that's steampunk. Oh my God, that's steampunk. And he's like, will you please stop using that word? We all know what it means. Just say, oh look, it's a robotic spider. You don't need to say, oh, it's a steampunk spider. It's built in. It's all right. We all know. There's also a lot of movies, and actually there's a few anime out there that have elements of steampunk, and a lot of the Hayao Miyazaki films all have different steampunk elements. There's also the Steam Boy,
Steam Detectives.
Science.
Steam Detectives? That's an older anime.
Oh yeah, Steam Detectives. I saw that once long time ago. So I mean, it's everywhere. I mean, then you've got like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. You've got Hellboy. You've got the Screw-On Head.
Amazing
Screw-On Head. There's also any Jules Verne Around the World in 80 Days. I mean, there's plenty of media that also has elements of steampunk in it that you watch and you realize, oh, it's everywhere. Even before, when you watch old movies and you see stuff in it, there's several TV shows there's a really bad 1980s show called Voyagers that had steampunk elements that was about a boy and a man and a guy that traveled back in time using the chronometer. Better. I can't speak. Basically a watch. A fancy watch that they would travel back in time and fix things that had gone wrong, kind of like a precursor to Quantum Leap. Or Time Squad or any, Time Cop or whatever, but who knows, whatever, put time in front of it and there you go. But they would travel and there was definitely elements of very Victorian-esque dressing from the man that was the companion to the young boy. So, I mean, it's everywhere. Wild Wild West, back in the 60s, had elements of it. I mean, it's pretty much everywhere and has definitely made more people aware of it, because once you start seeing it, you start noticing it in different places.
Yeah, it's been around without a name that was popular attached to it for so long that now it's really easy to go back and look at all these great artistic forms, all this different media that's made and go, oh my God, that's steampunk.
Any other questions? Please? I have no idea what that music is.
Dance party over there.
Oh, fashion show.
I did have a total brain fart earlier when someone asked me if I have any music. I do have a very small number of demo CDs that are my favorite danceable steampunk tracks. And if you want one, please don't tackle me to the ground. But afterwards, after I throw this microphone down and start running out of here, I will give them away until I have no more. So, yeah.
There you go.
And also we have some flyers if you're interested in our radio show, too. You can come up and grab them from us.
Goggles. Lots of goggles.
Top hats and bustles. Try and grow beyond it if you can. They're
know them.
They're great. They're iconic for a reason, but they're also just becoming a little cliche. So don't put your steampunk outfit together going, okay, I have to have a top hat and it has to have goggles on it.